with us right now via FaceTime is Alex Dominguez. He is one of those Democratic legislators who have left Texas, forcing this issue, having just met with Chuck Schumer, and later on this hour, we're told the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Representative, very good to have you. You know, you've heard the governor is going to arrest you guys when you get back. Are you afraid of that? Are you concerned about that?
No, I'm not. It's certainly something that was always something to ponder before we decided to make this decision. That's why it clearly shows our resolve and how important this is, and we're willing to be arrested.
Do you feel, though, that the way it looks is if you guys don't get your way, you leave? There's a history of having done this before, just a few months ago, back in 2003, something similar. Shouldn't this be the type of issue that's decided at the ballot box and not in a huff and leaving the city?
Well, you're assuming that, one, there's a huff, two, you're assuming that it can be resolved in a diplomatic fashion. Also, this is not the same thing as 2003. The reason why we're here is because there actually is the chance of federal legislation passing that would take care of all of this for us.
But if the Republicans were to do in reverse what you're doing, for whatever reasons, and I understand your passion, you're not faking that passion here, wouldn't you be angry that rather than try to iron it out, they just bolt, they leave the state?
You know, I think what the public doesn't see here is what's going on behind the scenes. This past Saturday, over 23 hours of debate on two very contentious bills. Our members tried to negotiate in good faith. Prior to that, behind closed doors, we tried to negotiate in good faith. We tried to offer good amendments that would make this bill better. And on a straight party line vote, every single one of those was rejected. So we are the ones that are trying to actually work this out.
Okay. Got it. So let me get your take on the most onerous part of that measure. How would you describe the one thing that broke off these talks?
I think the most important thing to consider here is not any one aspect of the bill, but rather the entire tenor of this bill and a number of other bills that the governor has forced us to consider. This legislature that's meeting right now in special session, this is coming on a veto of the legislative branch by the governor, which defunds. He intended every single legislative member, state senator, state representative, and over 2,000 state employees that work for nonpartisan offices such as the Legislative Budget Board, the state auditor's office. And this was the governor trying to force us to face his legislation and pass it. That's what this special session is about. It's about him. Once he got caught with our petition showing you cannot do that based on the Constitution of Texas, now he's starting to back off. I think he knows that what he's doing is wrong, but he was caught and he was forced to call this special session anyway. What we're talking about here with this specific bill, though there are other very bad bills that the governor called for us to just try to decide, is he knows he has the raw numbers to get these through. The problem right now with the state legislature is that it's not acting like it normally does. The House, the Senate are proud bodies that normally stand up to any person, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, if they sit in the governor's chair. We should all work together because we're a co-equal branch of the government.
Do you think, Representative, that people should show an ID when they vote?
I do every single time.
So that's not the problem. That's a big problem here.
That is not anything that any Democratic representative or senator is advocating. We absolutely think that if someone is showing up to vote, they should be presenting an ID. There is no testimony anywhere. None of us have offered any amendment to the contrary. That's just pure nonsense. We're not asking to change our laws. The laws that we have on the books with regards to elections in Texas are fair, they're safe, and they've been vetted for decades. In fact, this past election in 2020, the Secretary of State, which the governor appointed, clearly stated more than once that the elections in Texas were fair, they were secure, and on top of that, they were actually pretty fast. This is the governor's own Secretary of State. There is no evidence of any widespread voter fraud in Texas. And on top of that, I believe Trump even carried the state of Texas. I'm not sure what problem they're trying to solve.
All right, so you're okay with voter ID. It's some of these other provisions about, the Republicans trying to nix 24-hour voting and that sort of thing. That is where, and features like that draw the opposition, right?
That is a clear attack on Harris County's ideas. Harris County, due to the COVID restrictions, they knew they were going to have long lines. And we have video evidence of people standing in line for multiple hours. Imagine standing in multiple hours, either in the heat, the rain, the cold. That is not either a neighborly thing, a Texas thing, certainly not an American thing. We believe it should be easy for people to vote and vote honestly. What he's trying to do is trying to curtail the people that work different shifts, force them to not be able to vote.
All right. We'll see what happens and how long you're going to be in Washington, certainly out of the state. Keep us apprised of that. Representative, thank you very much for joining us. Alex Dominguez, one of those dozens of Democrats who have descended on Washington and checked out of Texas for how long we don't know.